No, it kind of feels like this map is getting me nowhere. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. See, I'm stuck out here at sea. I have this very vague map, and I kind of know where to go, but I don't really know where I'm going. And if I'm being honest, it feels like I'm going in a constant loop. Like, no matter how hard I try, I'm just getting nowhere. Congratulations, you basically just learned what it feels like to go through Kingdom Hearts alone. No YouTube explanations, nothing. This game is the most confusing game I have ever played, and I love it so much. It's like every turn, every corner is just another identity crisis. See, you can take a first glance at this game and think, you know, this looks like a kid's game. And you know, that's what I thought first. I've been playing this game for a really long time. See, I'm not old, but I think the first or second one came out when I was, like, really little. Well, actually, no. Neither of them came out whenever I was little. Anywho, they were pretty big in my time. Yeah, you know, I was born a couple years after it released, and you know, it was probably bigger, but you know, who cares? Pretty much almost everything I do, everything I name my accounts off of is a Kingdom Hearts reference. Kingdom Hearts is so much more than a kid's game. This game actively challenges your psyche. At first glance, it's just a Disney game. You know, you have the standard cast like Donald, Goofy, Mickey. You have the classic Disney characters like Aladdin, Captain Jack Sparrow. You have Tarzan, the World of Frozen. You have Jack Skellington. Classic villains too, like Maleficent and Pete. Hades, that one really weird chick from The Little Mermaid. I'm not gonna bother looking up her name, I don't really care. But beneath all these characters, there is a leading benefactor, a leader of some sorts that controls it all. A mastermind, somebody who is a master at manipulation. But we'll get to that later. Kingdom Hearts has 3 main games. Keep in mind, I said main games. There's a ton of other Kingdom Hearts games, but these are the main few. You have Kingdom Hearts, which is the original Kingdom Hearts, like as in the very first one to come out. Then you have Kingdom Hearts 2, and then shortly following that, of course, there is Kingdom Hearts 3. And of course, because all of these games are technically the same game in the same world, all that happens is basically a reset. Like, yeah, time goes forward and Sora ages and everyone else ages, but typically you just go back to square one, except the characters actually remember other characters that they have been involved with. Unless, of course, you want to count all the times that Sora has lost his memories. Yeah, you can see where this whole identity crisis game is coming from now. Sora in every game remains the same lighthearted, carefree character. The same exact main character, hero, protagonist. The chosen one. The boy who wants and has it all eventually. The only problem is, though, is that he always runs into the same problems over and over again. This problem being that he is separated from his body a lot. And what I mean by that, of course, is not only pieces, like actual pieces of his heart, but his memories as well. In every single game, we witness Sora slowly beginning to tear apart and piece together who he eventually becomes what we know today. I mean, you can even look up an article. He has lost his memories and has had his memories manipulated in literally every single game he has been in. And to be honest, if Kingdom Hearts 4 does get released, I would not be surprised if Sora somehow ends up losing his memories again. And you know, it's kind of scary because over time, as you notice, he's, losing and then he's putting himself back together, you begin to notice that his personality begins to warp and change. Like in the first Kingdom Hearts, he was very happy-go-lucky. You know, he's a little kid. He starts off literally as a little kid straight off from Destiny Island. It's expected of him to have a carefree nature. I mean, he literally began his life as a Keyblade wielder when he was 14? Damn, he looks like that at 14? I thought he was like 6. But anywho, that's besides the point. Sora has this friend named Riku. Riku is by far one of my favorite characters in Kingdom Hearts, simply because of the fact that, well, 1, he looks cool, and 2, he basically fits that stereotype of the edgier and more questionable main characters, because he does become an antagonist for some of the games. But then shortly after that, he straightens out and then he goes back to being good again. But then again, there have also been a lot of characters that have turned bad and then went back to being good. And of course, I'm referencing to Terra and Aqua. But their whole situation is completely different from what Riku's was. See, it all started as a very simple love triangle. Sora, Riku, and Kairi all live on Destiny Island. And well, Riku is romantically interested in Kairi. And of course, what is a love triangle without the other boy trying to get with the girl? The only difference is that Sora and Kairi are actually deeply connected to one another. So connected, in fact, that they have a secret hideout where there are drawings drawn by both Sora and Kairi of them eating the Palpo fruit together, which is basically a star-shaped fruit that if you and someone you deeply care about share one, your destinies become intertwined, and you will remain a part of each other's lives forever. And of course, Riku wants to have that as well. This, of course, creates tension and makes Sora and Riku's interactions a little awkward, especially considering the fact that Riku is constantly challenging Sora, especially for the reward of being able to share a Palpu fruit with Kairi. However, despite all of this tension, they all want the same thing, and that is to get off of Destiny Island, to see what's beyond. Riku, at this point, is desperate for freedom. He's been on this island for as long as he can remember, and he's ambitious to see what's beyond. He wants to see something new, and witness stuff that's more exciting than what he's seen on the island. His ambition eventually leads to the downfall of him being a good person. His greed and his desperation allows him to be easily manipulated. By who? None other than Maleficent. And, well, the darkness actually wins against Riku. He gets manipulated and his mind is warped. And to be honest, this is when some of his coolest designs come out too. Like, of course, Evil Riku, and then you have my favorite, 358/2 Days Riku, where he acknowledges the wrongdoings that he has done, and covers his eyes with a blindfold due to shame. And it got to the point where Shion, an imperfect recreation of Sora, called him a sham, to which he replies,
"Fair enough. You could say I am the biggest nobody of them all."
And this is by far one of my most favorite quotes in Kingdom Hearts ever. Besides, of course, Xemnas talking about how he wants to plunge the world into darkness. But yeah, to sum that all up, Riku and Sora, they go back to being buddies again, and, everything goes just as dandy as it was beforehand. However, my favorite thing to talk about when talking about Kingdom Hearts is the famous group of nobodies. That being none other than Organization 13. A group of nobodies who are all led by another nobody named, Xemnas. And Xemnas, he's an asshole to say the least, with his one and only true goal to find vessels for Xehanort to possess, and to finally bring out a new age, a place where everything is remade in Xehanort's image. And of course he also wanted to retain Kingdom Hearts, to basically become a god. And he assembles Organization 13 to fulfill this quest that he is on. Now you see, pretty much everyone else is irrelevant until we come across Roxas, my favorite member in Organization 13. Roxas was made when Sora lost his heart to then restore Kairi's. And Roxas is a badass, to say the least. He is the only person in the entire series to be able to masterfully wield two Keyblades at the same time. And the reason being is because he is actually connected to two people, being not only Sora, but Ventus as well. Yes, that is where I got my channel name from. But anywho, the reason why Roxas looks so much more like Ventus is because Ventus's heart actually resides within Sora's as well. So basically, Sora and Ventus share a heart. And the reason being is because they both had some irreparable damage, but the only reason why Roxas actually gets a body is because Sora is apparently just a heart. Meaning that even though he is manifested as a human boy, or rather it's just because of the fact that his raw emotions alone was able to eventually make Naminé, and he wasn't able to retain a body, maybe? Shit, man, it's really hard to keep track of. Yeah, he gets split into a lot of people, to say the least. And of course, we always need our golden boy protagonist, so he always finds a way to come back eventually. But yeah, anywho, Kingdom Hearts is basically just one big loop. And the reason being is because even though you may find a solution to a problem, that problem is just going to end up resurfacing again simply because of the fact that Sora has been shattered. Even though in the modern games he may look like he is perfectly fine and it may look like he has mastered light and darkness, in every single game you can see that he is straying more and more to confusion, and you start to realize that he is questioning and also is becoming less confident and more hesitant in his decision making and his actions. One thing that's for sure though, is that even after all this conflict, because, time seems to have just been completely irrelevant because he's still 15 in Kingdom Hearts 3, because he remains 15 in Kingdom Hearts 2 in Dream Drop Distance, he still keeps his one goal true, and that's to find Kairi and keep his friends safe. Yes, even though he strays closer and closer to darkness, he still remains that same golden child we met at the very beginning. And what else? We don't really know. All that was left behind from us on this teaser at the very end of Kingdom Hearts 3 is that he goes into the real world to find Kairi. And then, well, other than Xigbar being connected to the Master of Masters, the man behind it all, we really don't get any other hints as to what happens next. So that basically concludes everything. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you. If you have made it this far, I'd assume you at least somewhat enjoyed my video, so please like and subscribe. I do apologize, I was on a very big delay because I got really sick. But now that I'm up and going, and now that I'm back to normal and my voice doesn't sound really bad, I can go back to making videos just like how I used to. And again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I am Ventus, and thank you for watching.
Fair enough. You could say I am the biggest nobody of them all.